To make a long story short, Westerners suffer from extreme sickness. Mental illness does not cover it. A lot of people who are considered mentally ill do not display the same kinds of symptoms as Westerners do. We are talking about criminal insanity. They are sick and they need to be locked up and to be re-educated, at least. A lot of people might say, well, this sounds like communism. Not a communist. Communists are sick too. It actually is an idea that comes from the West. Okay, it proves my point. Communism, crony capitalism, Greco-Roman culture, okay, where the Jews have influenced the West. They're kind of effeminate, sexual, sadist-friendly religions, right? The weirdos who dress up like vampires and stuff. I mean, every day isn't Halloween. Okay, you're sick. You need help. The people on the right who are Christians, okay, you have a picture of a woman who covers her hair and dressed modestly and acts with a certain respect and submits to righteous men, not sickos like you who are hypocrites that frequent strip parlors and so on and so forth. You are sick in the head. You need help. You kill little kids and unarmed black people. You have a long history of raping and killing everybody. You insist on being in charge. You think they would at least have the basic decency to give up their positions of social control after they've abused them since the onset of this nation, since the beginning of this nation. They're sick in the head. They're in weird secret societies. They wear aprons and shit. They're what are they cooking up, right? They're cuckoo. They're sick in the head. Okay? I know for a fact, as the top martial artist who's been dealing with these people, observing them in various forms, their behaviors, including their martial arts behaviors and how they respond, right? It reflects a lack of understanding reality. They are easy to outmaneuver because they are sick in the head. It's like a retard, who sees pink ponies everywhere. It's not very hard to outmaneuver them and defeat them. It takes somebody who's more sane and more in touch with reality and nature to become the top martial artist, to slap them across the face with 100 grand, metaphorically speaking, and have a 4-year, $4,000 challenge for the most part. Okay, for the most part, it was $4,000. Okay, they haven't come up with a single valid counterpoint. Their counter arguments are weak. When I used to hang with gang members, I really see it from the inside out, right? They're basically criminals who work with people with legitimate power, who are also sick, mind you, very sick. Some of the most sick people are those who come off as normal, especially in a psychological construct that was derived from Greco-Roman treachery. It's insane not to see it that way. These are indecorous foes, I tell you. These are villains. They are classic villains. They are modern villains. They are weird fetish-having villains. They are goat-fucking villains, bestiality, pedophile villains. They are fraternity rapists and think it's cool as a group and cover it up and brag about it together type of villains. These fraternities place people in corporations who then come together to abuse women in various ways, and women who are dumb enough to roll with it and to insist on dating these types of villains. These people are sick. We're all aware that these things take place. I'd go as far as to say damn near completely aware for the most part. And yet women insist on dating pedophiles and rapists so they can brag about the material goods that are basically found in the dirt. Gold and stuff. They're mining through dirt and shit to get through some shiny metal, cleaning it off and giving it to some dumb airhead who then says, look at my diamond that was found in a pile of dirt and shit. And that makes me better than you. They're weird. They're plastic. They're artificial. They're fake. They redefine what it means to be an alpha male so a beta male can feel tough and manly. They pretend that they're more masculine, with all due respect, than black people, which is insane. Right? Cops are killing black people because they want you to believe that they're more masculine than they are. I repeat, cops kill black people because they want you to believe that their dicks are bigger, that they are more black, really, than them. When you think about it, the sun is a symbol of virility and masculinity in the ancient world. Hitler had a symbol of it. The Japanese, okay, Sunday, Jesus, the bright morning star. He's the alpha and the omega, right? He's trying to get the beta males to feel like an alpha. They come into his alpha male spirit and feel like they're just as much of a man as the next man. And they use the T, the cross, the plus, the feminine suffix from Egypt. They are sick in the head. And they have abused and murdered and raped people using Ebert technology, right? It isn't a masculine man that invents a gun. It is some weird sissy scientist. Let me see if it works. Some weirdo, Right? Some weird wig having bitch. She's just a sissy. Who wears a wig and lipstick and shit? They're weirdos. Weird opera weirdos. Weird, Van Gogh ass weirdos. They're fucking sick in the head. Hey man, I'm part white, I have the honor to admit that this culture reflects some kind of genetic and perhaps racial abnormality that seems to be only cured by intermarrying with black people, black men. Because men tend to dominate the gene expression, right? The RNA. So when you come from a culture that is sick, with all due respect, all racism aside, okay, and you constantly produce offspring that roll with it, right? They're complacent, right? Being accomplices and feeling comfortable in a culture designed for sickos, by sickos, makes one sick. You have to climb over the fence, H-E double hockey sticks, hell, right? The barrier was keeping you from transcending. Think outside of the box, climb across it, climb over, transcendary, transcend. Okay, these people are sick. They're dangerous. They set me up all the time so they can pretend that they're more masculine, and they're trying to address the argument that black people are not behaving in a way, that causes for them to use lethal force. So they provoke me, they drug me, they cause me to be partially blind. I have 15 witnesses, and this entire sick, predominantly white community doesn't lift a finger to stop it. The white mayor, the white police chief of the sheriff of the Santa Clara County Sheriff Department, left, right, middle, they're all sick. They dress up like vampires. They insist on their women dressing like sluts. Okay? When Muslim women dress like the Virgin Mary, they say our values against theirs. They say the most despicable values of the West, propagated by the corporates, accepted by sickos, mind you, because no man of honor would agree to these terms. It's like saying, we'll let you live, but you have to let us fuck you up the ass, and you have to suck off goats all day, every day. And you say, okay, a guy's got to eat. No, that is not the correct answer. You're sick in the fucking head. Metaphorically, you're doing 1,000,000 times worse than that. You are supporting the pedophile, bestiality, weird vampire, atheist. Right? I have pictures of, the satanic group on Facebook. 44,000 likes for one satanic page. Satanists everywhere, sick in the head. They say they believe that not all people are born equal. They're basically, Satanism and the left basically propagates white supremacy from a liberal progressive eugenicist perspective. The right is a conservative eugenic perspective, right? A Christian conservative, corporate elitist eugenicist perspective. The left is a liberal elitist, corporate liberal progressive eugenicist perspective. They are sick. They expect you to believe the people that colonized the world and raped and killed everybody and used beta male cultures, techniques, covert relational aggression tactics are good stock. Okay? They're sick. They're sickos. They're weird Dr. Kevorkian, Dr. Mengele type sickos. They're weird. They look at the history of non-consensual experimentation in this country. Who was aware? I would now assert that millions of people were aware. Okay? And a small group of people took the blame. MKUltra had 80 plus institutions and countless criminal networks and different groups on record. The Scottish Rite funded MKUltra. It's right here in a book by a psychiatrist, mind you. Okay? They're sick in the head. A bunch of bring crack into the black community type bitches, control mental health, and you think you should you think you should submit your children to them to the point where the pharmaceutical industry is the most profitable industry? Last time I checked, that's sickness. America suffers from extreme delusion, social norm radicalism. They're sick, satanic, corporate values. Right? Corporate means body, right? A fixation on the secular and profane. They are indecorous, disgusting sickos. You look at the symbolism in Christianity. To the Italians, they would say that you're wearing the horns, referring to the battle of the stags over potential mates. They were sparring. This is part of where sparring is established, where manhood traditionally and naturally is established through sparring comes from. Jesus is wearing the crown of horns, which has strong parallels, and this is the Italian community, mind you, Romans, Italians, with the stag sparring. Okay? They're basically saying this guy who insisted on morality ended up not mating and being tortured to death And every aspect that is moral is thrown out. Anything that might make white people seem as masculine as black martial artists is kept. That is the Western interpretation of the Bible. It's what happens when beta males that resort to beta science and technology to gain the upper hand and use drugging and psychology and chemistry, chemical sadists, sexual sadists, interpret the Bible instead of the martial arts structure. Do you see women saying, we will not put up with this? No. You see them organizing as groups, scared, conformist groups, mind you, but organizing as groups nevertheless, to propagate the idea that you should use your pussy power and conform to the corporate elite and date beta male pussies. So date the redneck, the KKK butt-plugging priest pussy and his congregation that approves of his sickness, or date the sick, weird, emo, vampire-dressing, gothic coward. It's sick. An emo is not a man. A gothic person is not a man. They're sick. Bikers rape people, and there's thousands of them in gangs riding on meth across the country. It's sick. There's gang members out of their minds on Lanios, on coke, on meth, on heroin, telling other people what to do, and their communities are conforming to their sick criminal culture. On record, Cubans, Colombians, Armenians, Irish, Italians, Russians, all different types of sickos with variations of Western culture, where East meets West, Eurasian, but certainly centered in Western culture, Western debauchery, Western fraternities, sororities, secret societies. They are sick apron-wearing weirdos, sick Crowley-looking pussies, and it is wrong to conform to their culture. It is sick. There is no excuse. Threats to your family are no excuse for conformity to sickness. It's no excuse for helping them shun me and persecute me. They owe me so much, I don't know where to begin. The greatest form of disgrace and disrespect is disrespecting the most honorable man in American history, which must be me. There isn't a single person who's recorded to have done more valorous, honorable, noble, and brave things. I'm uncontrolled. I'm not some guy in a state of sickness who can't take it anymore. I'm the guy who's pointing out precisely why they're wrong. I've outmaneuvered them because I'm more focused, I'm more intelligent than they are. And some of these dumbasses are going to try to pretend that it's a coincidence I'm a brain surgeon son. Most people who are brain surgeon sons are weird, privileged nerds. Most of them aren't black. And look at the time period he became a brain surgeon. We're talking about the civil rights movement. Keep the black man down times 10 in Detroit. Race riot, Detroit. So you can sit there like it's the same fucking thing. But I am your superior, and you people are sick. You don't even know why it is wrong to be complicit. And if you did, you wouldn't be complicit. You wouldn't serve in the military giving people cavity searches. You wouldn't give sick, diseased people cavity searches and then turn around and say black people are dirty. A bunch of racist cops then turn around, a bunch of racist ex-military redneck militia turn around and say black people are dirty. Didn't you spend all that time eating shit, shitting in the woods, wiping your ass with leaves? Weren't you raping dirty people from undeveloped nations? Weren't you giving people cavity searches, then licking your finger after eating spam with your hands? The fuck are you talking about? Rolling in shit, eating shit type bitches. Fuck's wrong with you? Dirty, dirty, weird motherfucking sickos. And no, the sick rapists who operate with impunity and mental health cannot help them. Okay? Sickos gravitate to mental health so they can rape and drug people with impunity. This is a drug and rape roofie Mickey culture. Sickos study drugs and take positions of legitimate power with their privileged networks holding them up and drug and rape people. I bet you dumbasses think Cosby is the only person that's raped a whole bunch of women with drugs. I bet you don't think that chemists fucking don't do that all the time and psychiatrists. You're sick. You are sick. You bring your children to their pedophile churches, to their pedophile shrinks. You're sick in the head. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You insist that your women dress like sluts, and you fight to the death for their right to be sick weird sluts that are racist garbage that pretend that only a poor white guy can be racist when eugenics is the main source of racism. It is a yuppie progressive idea.